Forbes Euroclean 2000 is done, refurbished, and it works actually a heck of a lot better now. Yeah, it's a strange one really, because I've heard a lot of people say that these were actually made by Electrolux, just badged up, rather like the Trident brand used to be, and I can sort of see that it came from a fairly reputable set of people who we were discussing it with on the Facebook group. I don't know, it is quite bespoke in its own right. Let me show you how it came out, what it looks like now, and how it works. Yes, hello my vacuum cleaner chums, how are you today? Yes, this came out very nicely indeed. In fact, it's nicer than the Electrolux ones because all the plastic is different. It's been remoulded with slightly moderner plastics. So it's more structural and everything's bolted together, unlike the older ones or the Electrolux ones where it's all riveted everywhere. This is just little bolts and screws, so it all came apart really nicely indeed. We have our hose, which is still detached from the wand. I have put a bit of glue, it's that inner ring there, it rotates and therefore this can't pull out, it just spins. So hopefully, given that bit of the sand as well, it should be okay. We have our floor tool, came up very nicely indeed, not an awful lot to do there. We have all of our tools still, so we have the crevice tool, we have the up high brush, we have the sort of weird angled brush that fits a lot of them, so you can clean like that, which is quite comfortable really. I mean, it's underneath things, it's probably more what that's for, yeah. And finally the very nice dusting brush, which does clip onto here as obviously they should do in normal times. I say it clips onto there though, it doesn't actually go fully on, and therefore because it doesn't go fully on, it doesn't clip into where it's supposed to go. I suppose, is it the wrong way round? No, because then that really doesn't work. So they sort of got the clip there, but yeah, you can't actually push the tool onto it enough to make much of a difference. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Let's have a look at the machine, which came out very nicely indeed. If we open up the bag housing, we can see that we have ourselves a different bag fitted. Pull you up a little bit so you can see, fitted a Miele bag onto it, just a cheapy patterny Miele bag. We still have our inner filter fitted, but it's very broken. It's all coming apart. It was glued together actually. It all sort of came off when I washed it. It smells quite nice now, but yeah, it still seals, and with this bag it doesn't actually matter as long as this bit here goes around the edge there, we'll be alright. Inside is spotless, very good indeed. Yeah, the only real modification I did was put a little bit of tape around this part just so that the bag has something to go behind and hopefully stop falling off, because unlike the automatics 345, you can do that. If you did that on Electrolux automatic, it would never pop open because obviously the bag stays with the machine and the front pops off, but like this doesn't make a blind bit of difference. Moving down, we shall unwind the cable and hope to gosh that it stays where it should be this time. Look, I put a little bit of tape on the cord rewind because it's very powerful now, but has sprung apart a few times on me. You may have noticed that we are wearing a more 3-pin plug. I say I couldn't be bothered with the adapter to plug it in. I couldn't do anything with the cord reel with the moulded plug fitted. They must have stamped that plug onto the end of the flex after putting the cord reel together, because the tension of the cord reel, you need no plug, because you need to spin the whole thing in and then feed the cable back out and then reattach the plug. So yeah, I took that off and I think it's fairly good for it. The other thing we have is the filter, which although it did wash up, not especially nice. It's thick, it's stiff, it's just a bit meh. So somewhere I bought in, where are they? Some scissors. And when I was in the shed actually, and these have been kicking around forever and they don't really go to anything, even though they have a picture of what looks like a goblin on the front of the bag. That doesn't really say much. It's a micro exhaust filter and it's quite big, but it's also the exact double size to make probably a nicer filter than this one. I think this restricts a lot of air, and yeah, it doesn't need to be perfectly filtered because we've got ourselves our nice bag, which is more than this machine certainly would ever have had. It's more than the actual nice machines would have ever had. And look, we can stick that on there, and then where did I put that? Under this bag. We can fit the cover back on, and it just looks a bit nicer as well. It just looks crisp and white. This is all yucky and yeah, and I've still got another filter, so we can keep that back in that packet for another day. Get in there. Let's plug it in and turn it on. Electrically, it's a little bit different to when you last saw it. It has now had the suppressor taken off of the cord reel, that broken cable replaced, and some of the other little wires replaced, the link wires that were all squashed and horrible and yucky. And it's also had a new switch because the switch that was in it was quite charred. It had been turned on and off. So yeah, new switch, different wiring. Vibrating as before. It sounds just as harsh as its, I think, Indian origin 950 watt motor, but I tell you what, it does still pack a fair punch if we just extend the wands a bit so that I can have some height. We can vacuum with it, and it's not bad. It's a bit grumbly on wind down. I didn't replace the bearing on the armature. I just greased it because it was an open one. And I think it's okay. The airflow coming out of it is certainly not too bad. Because our floor tool isn't the best. And of course it would have had one of those and then a hard floor brush. But we don't have that. Ooh, ding dong. That was a lady giving me £20 and taking her Dyson away. Yes, it's 32mm. So, in a thing that Eureka Forbes probably never thought would happen, oh, that's far too tall. We can use things like a pneumatic aero brush. It sort of does okay, but this is a bit thick. If we go to a thinner pile carpet, so it can spin a bit without getting bogged down by this very thick and unforgiving rug. But saying that, this head works very well on this as well. It just glides so well. Or for perhaps a nicer, straight suction experience, we could fit something like this pneumatic floor tool instead, which is optimised for lower airflow machines, more so than, this isn't optimised at all for anything. So it might make the most of it. 950 watts. Oh, it sticks itself down so much. It sticks itself down so much with this floorhead that the wand keeps collapsing, but again, it's only a very basic friction fit. Me twisting that is clamping against this bottom bit, and that's basically all that's stopping it. It's not doing a fantastic job at that either, but crikey, she certainly is quite powerful, although how much of that is down to our, different bag is for debate. But hey, if you can, why not? There's nothing automatic about this at all. There are no provisions for the automatic rod, and that's what makes me think that it must be re-engineered, because why would Electrolux or Trident or whoever, whatever, go to the effort of, removing the mould lines inside this top cover for the rod, taking out the holes in the motor plate for the automatic rod. And equally, on this front panel, look, how do I do it so you can see? There we go. Look, you spot something a little bit familiar there. Look, there is the moulding, cut out, punch out for the automatic bag housing, even though everything else here is completely different. This is just a free floating piece that clips into place here. But yeah, they've done some changes to it, whether they just deemed it not important enough, to scrub that out a bit more, I don't know. But yeah, the whole thing has, become, it is different. This is different. Everything's different. I had to glue up the screw holes because they were starting to crack, so gave them a little bit of preventative maintenance, and yeah, everything seems to be running well. Our filter is still pretty much bright white. It's just quite nice. It is odd because I'm so used to the Electrolux machines. Having one like this, which it does sound incredibly different, it's quite nice really. It's quite fun, and hopefully see it around a bit more. So there we go really. Have you ever had a Eureka Forbes or a Euroclean vacuum before? Do comment down below. It is a name that I have seen quite a lot on various things. I never thought they would do an Electrolux clone, but they did, and a very good one it is too. Bar the noise, I would say it's actually nicer than an original Electrolux 345, just due to the fact that it must be a good couple of decades younger, which is really helping its cause, I'll be honest. So yeah, there we go really. I don't know why I'm putting that there. You don't even go with it. We have these tools for it. Looking at some of the other videos online about this machine, including ones from India, which are the ones I've been paying the most attention to, because they had it for sale. Yeah, there was another one of those but with bristles. And that's about it really. They did show all of these tools. Obviously the crevice tool is heavily worn, but that's not its fault. So it's pretty complete, certainly complete enough for me to, I don't care about the missing hard floor tool. I'm just going to use, this one on it with the brushes down, and it will be incredibly lovely. And there we go. So, the clean world of Eureka Forbes. Thanks you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.